And God said, "Let there be
The
light."
Lord says, "Let my people go."
I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
This is the Talkin' Bible podcast.
Hi all, back for another episode of Talkin' Bible with Leonie Schlosser. Hello, Leonie.
Hello, how are you, Rohan?
Good. We're going to talk about Jesus healing on the
Yes.
Sabbath. We've done a lot of Sabbath episodes. There's so many healing on the Sabbath that there's almost a scripture for every day. Every Thursday nearly covers this throughout
Yes.
the year.
Yes, well,
Yep.
maybe
It's a
that's saying
big
something.
theme. Yeah, it's a big theme. Sabbath and healing, these are the big themes. So go ahead.
All right, so I'm reading from scriptures Mark 3, Luke 6, Luke 13, Luke 14, and John 5.
Just to prove the point, there's a lot of scriptures
yeah,
about
I know.
this.
So I read all of those scriptures to put this about, and also a little bit of help from AI, of course.
Yep.
Always very, very
Always to
kind to
learn.
me. So this is a statement. Jesus says that the Sabbath was made for us, not us working for the Sabbath. And that's a really good point, and I'm sure that you made that point as well. But in Luke 14, 1-6, Jesus asked them, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? Which is interesting.
That was the
They
question.
could not answer. So do you have anything to say about that one?
They could not answer because if they did answer healing, the crowds would think, well, that's very arrogant and rude of you to say. So if they said no, so they often didn't answer. Jesus put them in positions where they would be stuck and not be able to answer, because if they said what they really thought, the crowds would rebel.
Yes.
So they would just keep quiet. They didn't have
Yes.
the talk about last week the last episode having the courage to stand up for what they believed. Very often they didn't.
No.
They were placed in positions where they went, well, we're afraid of the crowd, so we're just going to keep our mouths shut. And that's what was going on here.
And they were constantly silent.
Yes.
So then Jesus makes them think, which is what he's always doing.
Yep.
If they had a son or an ox and it fell into the well, would they not rescue it? So again, they were silent.
Yep.
It is through that they have never been challenged to really think about what the Sabbath was about.
Yes.
I think that with the most Jewish people, they don't really think about what it was about.
No.
I'll give you another story because you know I'm a bit of a storyteller. A friend of mine went to Israel.
Yep.
And she stood in a lift.
Oh, you've heard the lift story from a
Yes,
friend?
yes.
I've talked about the lift story on the podcast on occasion.
Yes. Oh, maybe it was from you, I heard.
Maybe.
Yes,
Yep.
but she actually experienced it.
Yep,
So
I have too.
she was
King
standing
David
in the
Hotel.
lift, yeah, and every single one was,
Yep.
yeah. So, yeah.
Now, tell the story. Go ahead. Just tell it quickly.
Well, anyway, she just asked the guide why do we have to go every single floor, and they
Yep.
said, because it's
The
Sabbath.
Shabbat elevator.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
They're not allowed to push a button on the lift,
No.
so the lift stops at every floor so that they don't have to push the button.
So she experienced that as
yeah.
well. So
but what
that's interesting
what the
'cause you did
Jews
too.
do is the secular Jews get in the Gentile lift and then they ask the Gentile to push the button for them.
Yeah, which is what happened with them because they went
Exactly.
into that one and they had to press a button. So
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
funny.
So that was the point, is they missed the point of the Sabbath multiple
Yeah.
times. Yep.
So it was through never been challenged to really think about it. So I think, again, it's that generational thing
Yes.
where,
Yeah.
they've
Like we
always
talked
done
about
it.
yesterday.
They never thought about it. And again, in Mark 3, Jesus asked the priest, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? But this time he says to good or to do harm. So if you're doing good,
Yep. Is that lawful? Can you do that on the Sabbath?
Or is it because maybe what I'm doing good, not harm?
Yep.
So again, they were silent.
Yep, still couldn't answer.
Still couldn't answer.
Because they had all these rules rules around rules about the Sabbath. Because now let's just be kind to the Jews for a minute. It's commandment number 4 of the 10 Commandments. So it's not some obscure rule in the 613.
No,
it's
actually
up there in the 10 Commandments.
It's in the 10 Commandments.
4 or 5. I think it's 4. So there it is, as something that they obviously have perceived as really important. So,
but who made the rules around the Sabbath?
that's what had happened. Is they took the Sabbath to be something so holy and so pure, so important, that then they developed these fences around it, lest they fear breaking the Sabbath. But they didn't understand that the Sabbath, it actually says in the Old Testament, the Sabbath is God's gift to you.
And your day of rest.
It's your day of rest. And he said he's talking to a people who have lived in slavery, working morning till evening, 7 days a week.
No time off.
No time off. So it was a gift to them. So what was meant for good to actually rest them and recover and help them be healed, basically it was a healing thing as much as anything else, as well as trusting God. It was meant to be a gift. They had become so focused on not breaking it that they had these rules in place, which actually had made the Sabbath become something constricting rather than something liberating and relaxing.
And restful.
That's right, yeah. And that's
It
what
wasn't
Jesus is
restful.
trying to... But they built that mentality over time because it was commandment number 4. They went, heck, we better not break this one.
Yeah.
So let's make real sure we don't break it. But in the process of putting all the fences around it, they actually defeated the purpose of it.
Yeah.
So it's worth thinking through how we might do that in our lives too, because at times I think we can do that.
Yes.
We can create rules or guidelines that well intended, but then we miss the point of why we incorporated those guidelines in the first place.
Which is, again, we need time to think.
Yes, you need to think it through.
Yeah, I actually listened to a thing on 103.2 this morning. Chris Witts talked about how we don't like sitting in silence. We don't do silence. We don't like silence well. And I think in all these situations, I think we should actually sit in silence and think about things. So
definitely.
Says Jesus was grieved at their hardening of heart towards the Sabbath. They cared more for their rules than for each other. So, like all these people being healed, and they were like on him saying, oh, it's the Sabbath. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
Yeah, and in fact, it also says that the healed man, the lame man by the pool.
The pool, that was on Sabbath as well, yep.
And he said to him, and Jesus asked, do you want to be healed? Because sometimes people didn't.
Yeah, people didn't want to.
Not once did this man say, but it is the Sabbath. He didn't say it.
He didn't say it.
He wasn't interested in that. He was interested in someone that was stirring that pool.
Yep, that's right.
Jesus told him to pick up his mat and walk. He did so, and the priests were more concerned about the man walking away with his mat in his hand.
It's the Sabbath. The Lord forbids you to carry that mat.
That's right. How dare you
carry that mat?
Can't I touch
exactly.
Then the healing that took place, so that they weren't concerned that they'd seen this guy day in, day out, like for how many years? So many years, 30 years. And now he's walking around and they're more interested that he's got a heavy mat.
So what happens is our rules can lead us to become cynical and critical.
Yeah, or blind.
Or blind, good point. Yeah, that's right.
Can't even see the miracle unfolding in front of us.
Good point.
So I've got a question here for Pastor Rohan. Had some friends go to, I just told you, didn't I? And they were in a lift.
Oh, that's the lift story, yep.
Yeah, but you knew it though.
I knew that story.
Yeah,
well, I
probably
experienced
heard
that
it
as well.
from you first
Maybe,
off.
yeah.
So I just think they take it too far.
Oh, absolutely they do.
Way too far.
And so the question for us is, where do we do that? We might not do it with the Sabbath, but we do it with certain behaviours or things that we put boundaries around. And we should have those boundaries, but remember that those things serve us, not the other way around. So
the other thing is giving. I can't give unless I've got. And the thing is in our country particularly,
there's always something we can give.
We always have something.
Yes, that's right, exactly. So that's a really good example of it. We've got to make sure that we serve. It's the structures in our world serve us, not the other way around. We talked about the parable of the Good Samaritan. There's a good example of the same principle. I know I can't touch that person because I'll become unclean. And Jesus would say, no. What's more important is the dignity of the other person.
Yeah, the welfare.
The welfare of the other person. So that's what Jesus is doing here. He's going, hang on a sec. What makes you think your rule is so good when you're quite happy to pull an ox out of a pit if it falls in a pit, or a donkey pulls out?
Or even your own son.
Or even your own son, yeah. I think, because one version says the son, other versions say the animals, but let's put it this way. Obviously, they've created rules that allow that have made them justify that it's okay if an ox is in a pit and is drowning, they can break, quote unquote, the Sabbath on that day to rescue that animal. And Jesus is going, well, if you treat your property that way, how much more should you treat a person?
Correct.
That's the hypocrisy that he's showing up here.
That is the truth.
You've got a rule that says it's okay to pull a donkey out of a pit.
Yeah.
But what about a person? I mean, let's get our priorities right, folks, is what Jesus is saying. Let's not get become hypocritical in our law keeping.
Yes.
And that's what they constantly did.
Yes.
And that's what I've said it many times on this podcast, that we can sit in judgment on the Pharisees, or we can look at them and go, where am I a Pharisee? Where is that in my life, and how can I change that?
Looking at it yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's all I have.
Oh, good. We might be making up some time.
I know.
That was a quick one. Okay, everyone. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you on the next episode.
Thank you.